Thanks to the support as a channel member, Firesoul. I really don't think it was necessary to give me a one-day suspension for making videos just because I didn't wear a suit over the weekend. No, overreaction. Yeah, definitely an overreaction, especially because I wore the tuxedo when I became Kevy 6 times and won the Streamer Showdown once again over on Twitch. Now, I realise you and everybody on YouTube doesn't care about that, but at least... for me, at least I wore a suit then. I tell you something you people on YouTube should care about, and yes, I include you in this number, Mrs Wearmouth. We are achingly close to 100,000 subscribers here on the channel. If anybody watching isn't currently subscribed, it would make me and Mrs Wearmouth, I know I'm talking about you in the third person even though you're on the call, Mrs Wearmouth, it would make us all very happy if you could tip us over that 100,000 mark and maybe go some way towards making me Kevy 2 plaques. It'd be nice to have another one to go next to the one from the vlog channel. Yeah, that was a weird phone call, wasn't it? Hello, welcome to part 115 of Homegrown. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have two games for you in the Premier League. We're at home against both Blackburn and Leicester. Since you were last with me, we've forgotten how to win again. We had our little spell where we switched the tactic back to the 4-2-3-1. So we had the horrible start to the season with the 4-3-3. We had the media message saying Chapman unwilling to experiment. So I experimented. We went to the 4-2-3-1, which I think is a weaker system for the squad that we've built. But we turned the season around a little bit. We beat Man City. We beat Norwich. We beat Arsenal. Sorry, we drew against Arsenal and Liverpool. We beat Stoke. But then we lost against Southampton. We drew against Newcastle. So for the last game against Bristol City, I actually switched back to the 4-3-3 again, which I think is our strongest tactic. But we conceded a late goal against bottom of the table Bristol City and have now made it 3 games without a win in the Premier League. Villalobos is still injured as well, which isn't ideal because he showed those little signs against Manchester City that he might finally be turning into the player we need and then immediately got injured. This is what the Premier League table looks like. I'm not alarmed by anything that I see here. 21 points on the board after 16 games, well above the Kev ratio, well clear of relegation. We're on the same number of points as both Chelsea and Arsenal. I think on that basis, we're doing all right. We're only 4 points outside of the Europa League qualification spots. And the goal for this season, once again, is just not get relegated until we get to the point where we've got a 20, 25 goal a season striker really firing. I don't think we need to worry about threatening Europe. I certainly don't think this is the year we're going to threaten Europe. One thing we do need to worry about, though, is that because of the fact that progress is slowing down again, like it did in the Championship, some of these wonder kids we have been able to bring in are starting to lose patience with being at the club, with both Janos Fazekas and Enoch Abagai both wanting to move to bigger clubs. I've agreed with Fazekas that I'll let him go for 80 million. If we get an offer for 80 million, we have to let Fazekas go. For Abagai, we've agreed to let him go for his release clause. I don't think he gets our release clauses work. I didn't have to agree to that. But for him, it'll be 92 million. For either of them, it would be fantastic business. If we sold them both, that's nearly 200 million pounds worth of money coming into the club, which would be fantastic. But it would mean the defence is then set back a number of years because unlike in a normal save where we could just replace them with Premier League quality players, obviously we'd be replacing them with 18-year-olds and starting the process again. So at some point, we need to get enough of these 18-year-old wonder kids together at the same time so they all develop through together and start winning stuff quickly enough so that they don't want to leave. And I think that's going to be the trick. But fingers crossed, nobody comes in with the big offers for them in January. I don't know if anyone's interested. If we have a look, try and find him. So Fazekas, no one interested in him. And Abagai, nobody interested in him. So at the moment, fingers crossed, we should be okay. So this is the team we're going to put out there for the game against Blackburn. Like I say, we're going back to the 4-3-3. We've got Ali Basic back up front again, like the good old days. Villalobos should be fit for the second game in this episode because it's an international break after this match. We've got a friendly to play offline. Then we'll be back for the second match. So hopefully we should play ourselves into a bit of form in the friendly and have our striker back for the Leicester game. But for the game against Blackburn, this is the team. It's Williams in goal. A back four of Peresato, Anderson, Fazekas and Gillespie. Abagai then sitting at the base of the midfield as our playmaker. Hodgkinson and Gregoire in front of him. Richardson and Oliveira are going to be out wide. And Ali Basic up front. I am close to starting Chancel Bayer as our striker because he is joint top scorer for us at the moment from the bench. He's an actual striker, a natural striker, the only natural striker in the squad, really, when Villalobos is unavailable. And he is starting to score goals from the bench. So it might be that he breaks through as the man who we end up playing, but I'm still not completely confident in playing him from the start at the moment. Ali Basic, I know we all know he's a midfielder, but he never lets us down when he plays up front. He does score roughly a goal every other game while he's up there. He's a constant threat. He gets in behind like he has done here. He runs a lot. That's the one issue with Ali Basic. He does miss quite a lot as well, but he'll get more than one chance today, and hopefully we'll score one of them or play somebody else in. At least he looks like a Premier League player when he's running around up there. It's just his finishing lets him down quite consistently. But like I say, scoring at a goal every other game is a better goal ratio than anyone else at the club has had since the days of us being in the Championship and being free scoring down there. Richardson has picked up a knock, so we need to get him off a potential lower leg injury. Lukinas can come on for him and play as an inside forward, which I think is his best position. He's been playing there quite a lot this season. I think we might be seeing the end of Ola Richards. I think Lukinas is probably my second choice left winger now behind Richardson, which means Richards is probably done. Despite previously being a runner-up for the Next Gen Award, he was unlucky enough to be at the club at the same time as Richardson. It's kind of Jack Green syndrome all over again. Lots of potential, but a slightly better player at the club means he has to miss out. Ola Richards has now suffered the same fate, and it is going to be something with having so many very good young players at the club. It is going to be something we see from time to time. It's not going to be possible to fully develop all of them. We're going to have to pick who we're going all in on, knowing that means some players are going to slip through the net because we can't. There would have been no way to give both Richards and Richardson enough game time without retraining them, one of them into another position. And we tried, and neither of them seemed up for it. Right. Still 0-0. We really, really need a goal. We've been the better team, as usual. It's been the story of this little wobble that we've had in recent games. We're the better team, but we just don't have a goal scorer. I'm going to bring Bayer on. I'm going to bring him on for Hodgkinson. We're going to drop Ali Basic back into midfield, and we're going to make that change and see if Bayer can come on and grab us a goal, as he has done recently. There have been times recently where he's come off the bench and grabbed these all-important goals. So fingers crossed today can be another one of those times. But, nothing's happening. What can we do? What have we got? Oliveira's tired. Who have we got who can come on for Oliveira? Nathan Wally can come on for Oliveira. Get him on as well. See if he can help us find a goal from somewhere. Let's encourage the boys as well. Blackburn are rock bottom of the league. This is another game against a team we definitely should be beating, similar to the Bristol City game before this one. These are matches we should be winning, and it's been the story of the season so far. Our poor performances and our poor results have came against teams we should be better than. And then when we play against the better teams, we're beating them. I wonder if we've now got ourselves to the point reputation-wise where we've got a little bit more reputation than we had before. Bayer's in here and has scored, and I think we might have our new striker, Chancel Bayer, a fifth goal of the season in the 89th minute, makes it 1-0 to home. Goodness me, did we need that goal? And fingers crossed, we can now hold on and keep the clean sheet as well. It's a lovely ball over the top from Ali Basic. We really miss him in midfield when he's not there. He is definitely the new Kieran Hodgkinson for this team, and he's going to be part of that midfield for many years to come. And Bayer has grabbed himself yet another goal. He's the latest player off of the home conveyor belt. He is homegrown academy player, and he's properly part of this first team squad now. Has just got us 3 points in that game. What I was speculating on is whether we've now reached the point where our reputation has had a little bit of a boost. So the smaller clubs now defend against us. Whereas in the past, everybody thought they could beat us. So that meant with the smaller clubs attacking us, we would then be able to hit them on the break and grab goals against them. I wonder now if the bigger clubs are still doing that, which is why we're able to beat them. They're still coming after us, but the smaller clubs are now just setting out to defend against us and grab a draw, and we're finding it impossible to break down because we don't have that oomph up front. I suspect that's what's happening, and I don't really know if there's anything we can do about it until we get a striker who's really firing. It might be Bayer, it might be Villalobos. They should both be available for the next game, and we're lurking just outside the European spots. So we're not even that bad a side. So after a 13-0 win in our friendly to get some to get some more form and goals back into our team. We do have Villalobos back and fit, although only fit to play 75 minutes. So Bayer will definitely be coming on up front in this game. Ali Basic's dropped back into midfield with Hodgkinson dropping out of the side. He's going to sit down there on the bench, and we've shuffled the defence around a little bit as well. We've got Pasotti sat in front of Fazekas, Anderson, Abagai and Perasato as I continue to shuffle. I figure that's the best thing to do with a defence, just constantly shuffle them around and not really be sure what to do with them. That's the way to settle down a young defence and get them playing well together. Constantly be changing the personnel and the positions that they're playing in while I try and figure out who's best where. I quite like, I really like Perasato at right back. I know I keep talking about him as a left back. I think long-term Hippolyte is going to be my right back with Perasato at left back. But for the time being, with Abagai and Fazekas both still here, I think this might be my favourite. Possibly Abagai and Fazekas the other way round. I still haven't decided which way round I like them. But at the moment, we're just constantly changing them while I try and figure out what's best. Oliveira playing it into Ali Basic. Cross comes over to Gregoire and his effort goes wide. In fact, it looks like it's gone behind for a corner. So we've got a chance from the Richardson corner. He's recovered from the knock that he picked up in that last game. And Abagai's there from the corner, but his header is held onto comfortably by the Leicester goalkeeper. Leicester up in 5th place in the league. So one of the better sides. If my theory I was speculating on before is correct, this should be a team that is a little bit easier for us to break down because they won't just be defending against us. That's the theory. Let's see if it works in practice. Gregoire now on the edge of the area finds Richardson. Villalobos now playing it in a beautiful ball for Oliveira. And if he just fires that across goal, we're 1-0 up. But for some reason, he's tried to be clever and just kind of ding it in at the near post. And the goalkeeper is fully aware of what's going on, fully alert to the situation. And it remains 0-0. We do seem to have played better in this game than we have done in the games recently against the lesser teams of the division. The only problem is, just like against everybody else, we've still not scored goals. And now, slightly different to when you play against the worst teams. The bigger teams punish you for it when it happens. So Leicester have come up the other end, despite not really having anything in the way of chances for the entire first half. They've got themselves a set piece. We've cleared it first time, but given them all the time in the world to get the cross back in again. And second time round, they've got the ball into the back of the net on 45 minutes. And it's now 1-0 to Leicester. And we've left ourselves with work to do in this game. Perasato trying to get the crossover to do that work before the halftime whistle, but we aren't able to get the shot away. And once again, Leicester on the attack, turning Fazekas inside out. He didn't look much like a left back there, did he? And they are charging into the area, and Williams does well to make the stop. If we'd have gone in at halftime 2-0 down, there would be no justice in the world at all, because we've had the better of that first half. And I think the stats probably back that up. They do. I mean, we've just about had we've had the better of the possession, slightly better XG. Everything else is roughly even. But I do feel a little bit hard done by to be behind in the game. We're going to demand more, and we're going to hopefully get a bit of a breakthrough. Villalobos is going to have to come off in a minute. Aside from that one pass to Oliveira that was wasted, we've not really seen anything of Villalobos yet. So Bayer's going to get another opportunity to come on and secure his spot as our starting striker. Fazekas across to, I think that was Ali Basic. He plays Richardson in, and Villalobos is lurking in the middle, as is Oliveira. It's a little bit long for either of them. Oliveira picks it up, cuts it back to Perasato, who couldn't get his cross in, but it falls to Oliveira. Now Ali Basic, he does have time to pick his spot with a cross. And, I mean, Villalobos is both offside, and it's a terrible header. Double disappointment from the £30 million man, and it is time for him to come off. Chancel Bayer comes on, and fingers crossed he can be in the goals again. Richardson's also not had the best of games. So I think we haven't got Lukinas on the bench today. We don't really have anyone who can go out onto that left wing. I wonder, have we got a diamond loaded? We have. It's my Streamer Showdown diamond. We're going to try a diamond. I think we're going to bring Kieran Hodgkinson on. This has kind of been in the back of my mind for a little while. In this kind of situation, bring Kieran Hodgkinson on as a second striker. But there you go. He wants to be a deep lying forward with Oliveira in behind and that midfield, and see if that can maybe give us a breakthrough. Hodgkinson playing up with Bayer then. Two products of the home conveyor belt, but about 10 years apart. Abagai from the back plays it forward to Perasato, who's playing the ball over the top, looking for Bayer, and Bayer takes it down, turns and runs. There's not really anyone up supporting him just yet. Hodgkinson has now made it into the area. Bayer's brought down, and I'm feeling a little hard done by again that there's no penalty there. Leicester now coming away with the ball. If we could get a foot in somewhere and get the ball back up the other end, that would be very pleasant. Oliveira playing it back to Anderson. Anderson to Abagai, who's playing the ball forward, looking for that run of Bayer again, but this time played it a little bit too close to him, and rather than running onto it, he was trying to win it in the air, and that's not really his strength. And Leicester are now 2-0 up, and I feel like there's no justice in the world right now. We should not be 2-0 down in this game. But the fact Leicester have got a 14-goal striker, and it's not even Christmas, really does say a lot about the difference in quality between these two teams. I think we're just about there. We just need the striker. It's the situation we've been in for the last year, at least in the Premier League. We thought Villalobos was going to be the man. He's scored goals in one game this season. That game against Manchester City where he grabbed a couple of goals, that is the only time he's scored all season. And it's really costing us. Whether Bayer becomes the man or whether we need to... Well, I mean, we're obviously continuing to look for someone to bring in, but there just hasn't been anybody show up. What I need, those of you who watch my Twitch streams regularly will know how many brilliant wonder kid strikers we've got for my Sheffield United team in that save. We need a Tabacaro or a Sven de Silva or a Diekmeyer, or, you know, we've got 5 of them. We've got 5 wonder kid strikers in my Sheffield United team. It's not a youth academy save, but they just keep coming up. We need one player like that. We thought we had him with Villalobos. We obviously haven't yet. He might still come good, but he's not the answer at the moment. January is approaching. We've still got £40 million of transfer budget to spend. We've got to hope that a striker emerges, because at the moment we are so desperate for goals and we're just not finding them. We're not going to get relegated. We're not in danger of that. But we're also not going to make the breakthrough to the next level until we have a striker. And I sound like a broken record because I've been saying it for 10 or 15 episodes now. We need a striker, but they're just not there. I mean, let's filter by striker, see what we've got. Sana Biagu, natural false 9. That's not the answer. Marcello Caltericcio, only 2.5-star current ability, and it says there he's a winger. He's only got 11 finishing. I mean, I guess he's scored a few goals, but I mean, this is the sort of player that's not going to come in and be spectacular straight away. He'd be our 7th choice striker. He's not as good as Chancel Bayer, and that's the thing. Anyone who's 2.5 stars or below, not as good as Bayer. All this lot not fully scouted yet, which is why they've got so many white stars. If we filter it by scout recommendation, the ones with the best potential have got even lower current ability. To find the only one with 2.5-star current ability and a decent scout recommendation is this Uruguayan guy, who on his scout report, it's only a rating of 79. I don't know. Only got 11 for shooting. He's lightning quick, which might be useful. Well, we know that will be useful. How much is he going to cost? Oh, no, I didn't want to make an inquiry. We might be buying him accidentally. I guess we'll see how that... We might just bring him in just because we need something a little bit different. Maybe we will sign that guy. When's his birthday? March. So we can bring him in January. Maybe. Harrison Davies still wants a new challenge. We're still trying to persuade him to stay. Curry couldn't. Can I? Just about. Harrison Davies isn't going to be here much longer, I don't think. We need a striker. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.